Okay, hi guys, and welcome to another video. In my previous video, we discussed the evidence that shows that the kris was indeed used in war and on the battlefield. I also did somewhat of a review on a book, Tufat al-Nafis, translated into the English language by Virginia Matheson. Today, I would like to present another interesting anecdote from the pages of colonial writings on the subject of, wait for it, is the kris truly poisonous? So, without further ado, let's roll the intro and get on with today's video. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is Khairi Johari, better known as Pak Jofe, the kris collector from Singapore, your personal guide to the exciting world of the kris and its collecting culture. If you are a fan of history, art, and mythology embodied into these traditional daggers that we natives of the Malay world refer to as the kris, be sure to subscribe and join our community right here on the Kris Collector YouTube channel. Today, we are diving into a century-old gem, Malay Poisons and Charm Cures, published in 1923, authored by Dr. John Desmond Gimlette. This book is a rare glimpse into the colonial era's complexities. The book title alone evokes a sense of mystery and history. Dr. Gimlette, a medical officer in the Federated Malay States for 18 years, penned this fascinating study revealing insights into traditional Malay poisons and cures. But this book is more than a medical study. It's a reflection of a time when foreign powers ruled through deception. It's a testament to the resilience of cultures under occupation. This narrative isn't just historical, it echoes in today's global context too, if you catch my drift.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! No, welcome, no! No, 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 no! لفتي كي أقصى! بالروح! بالدم! لفتي كي أقصى!
Now, returning to Dr. Gimlette's journey, his decade in Kelantan from 1909 was crucial. He meticulously gathered information on Malay poisons, surpassing previous works in depth and scope. Despite language and cultural barriers, he managed to publish this significant work with assistance from various experts and local informants. In Malay Poisons and Charm Cures, Dr. Gimlette acknowledges the contributions of local figures and healers. Their knowledge was pivotal in understanding the intricacies of Malay toxicology and therapeutic practices. Interestingly, colonial officers were largely ignorant of Malay poisons before this book. It filled a significant gap, drawing from diverse sources, including Ridley's Materia Medica. For anyone curious about traditional Malay medical practices, this book is invaluable. It's a bridge between traditional knowledge and scientific understanding, offering insights into diseases, black magic, and the legal implications of poisoning cases. Reading Malay Poisons and Charm Cures isn't just educational, it's an immersive journey into a world where medicine, magic, and history intertwine. In the early chapters, this book delves into the varied motifs behind poisonings in Malay culture. Dr. Gimlette meticulously distinguishes between intoxicating and deadly poisons. shedding light on their nuanced reasons behind their respective uses. He then draws intriguing comparisons between the poisons used in Kelantan and India, analyzing their ingredients, tools, types, doses, and methods. A fascinating discussion in the early chapters focuses on the methods of administering the poison. This includes the use of the kris, with alleged magical properties, and the ancient practice of beetle chewing as a means of poisoning. Another method discussed is the use of blood in love and gambling charms, highlighting the deep-rooted cultural practices surrounding these poisons. Dr. Gimlette also mentions time-based poisons, capable of causing death months or even years after administration. This information underscores the sophisticated knowledge of toxicology in traditional Malay society. He differentiates the reactions to poisoning from plants or animals, detailing how ingestion, inhalation, or contact with these substances could result in intoxication or death. Finally, Dr. Gimlette identifies methods for detecting individuals who possesses or uses poisons, providing an early glimpse into forensic science within Malay culture. The myth of the poisoned kris has captivated many, becoming a deeply entrenched part of kris culture. But where did this myth originated from? And is there any truth to it? Historical accounts on this topic are inconsistent and often vague, leaving us to wonder about the reality of the poisoned krises. This raises a crucial question. Were kris blades really laced with poison? Dr. Gimlette's book shed some light on this mystery. He discovered that in the west coast of the Malay Peninsula, locals strongly denied the deliberate poisoning of kris blades. As I have discussed in a previous video, there's a crucial difference between poisons and venoms. Remember, poisons need to be ingested, while venoms are dangerous when injected into the bloodstream. In the context of the kris, it's more plausible that any harmful substances used would be of the venomous type. This would make the kris dangerous through cuts rather than through ingestion. From a scientific standpoint, substances lethal when ingested can still cause significant harm if applied to an open wound. Such exposure might not be deadly but could lead to severe irritation and potentially serious life-threatening infections. Bear in mind that this was during a time where antibiotics were not readily available just yet. Another common belief, especially among Western collectors, is that applying Warangan to a kris blade makes it poisonous. Let's delve into what Warangan really is and debunk some myths. Warangan is a term for a liquid solution, typically containing citric acid from local limes and other fermented juices, mixed with arsenic-based terrestrial compounds. This solution, once ready, is used to soak a kris blade, initiating a chemical reaction with the iron. The reaction forms a layer of sulfides on the blade's surface, which is non-oxygen based. This creates a non-porous shield, preventing rust by blocking oxygen from reacting with the iron. The primary purpose of Warangan is rust prevention. The striking palmul patterns, a result of different metallic elements reacting variably to Warangan, are an aesthetic byproduct. Warangan's fundamental use is protective, not to poison the blade. To be lethal, Warangan would need to be ingested in large or highly concentrated quantities. Traditional arsenic in Warangan is mined and used in its natural state, unlike the modern purified arsenic trioxide, which is more consistent but hazardous and corrosive. I recommend using traditional Warangan on kris blades, especially antique ones, over modern refined arsenic, which can corrode the blade more aggressively. For a more detailed exploration of this topic, check out my previous video here, where I delve into the intricacies of Warangan and its uses in kris craftsmanship. Old European authors often describe the kris as a poisoned weapon. This idea likely stemmed from fear and misunderstanding of the natives. Consider this rationally. If poisoning kris blades was common, the poison would need frequent renewals to stay effective. This contradicts the practicality of such a practice. Dr. Gimlette's research reveals that Malay-based poisons derive from local flora and fauna. They are rare and hard to procure. Moreover, refining these poisons is a complex and isolated process. While I don't completely rule out the use of poison on Malay weapons as documented by colonizers, its use seems more likely in crimes of passion, where emotions override practicality. Now, let's go back to the 1500s. The Albuquerque reported losing many men to poisoned arrows during the attack on Malacca, suggesting a historical basis for both European and Malay accounts of poisoned weapons. Now, in my opinion, the application of poison on kris blades in times of peace seems impractical and not economical. It's not something done just for the fun of it. However, in times of war and unrest, lacing blades with toxic substances could be a strategic choice to quickly incapacitate aggressors. In Malay Poisons and Charm Cures, Dr. Gimlette describes a vivid example of poison being applied to a kris blade, which was then used on a fowl that succumbed quickly to its effects. The white powdered substance used, likely arsenic base, was spread on the kris blade, followed by lime juice, and then the blade was left to dry in the sun. Now, the plot thickens after the blade dries. A black extract is laced onto the kris blade, followed by an application of cocoa oil, not chocolate, but what was known as coconut oil to colonial observers. The initial step of applying arsenic and lime, known as mewarang, suggests a dual purpose for Warangan, protecting the blade from rust and corrosion by other substances. Coconut oil's application seems to be a preservative measure to maintain the potency of the toxic substance until the blade is ready to be used. The discovery that the black extract comes from a highly toxic plant, dangerous whether ingested or through wound exposure, adds to the narrative. Now, I will refrain from naming the plant for the safety of the curious among you, but the book is there for those who wish to delve deeper into this knowledge. This case exemplifies the Malays' ingenuity and observational skills, crafting solutions with plant and animal toxins depending on the need. Now, it's a shame that this topic hasn't been fully explored. Perhaps it's a field ripe for investigation by aspiring PhD students. As we have journeyed through the rich tapestry of the kris and its enigmatic presence in Malay culture, we've uncovered myths, elucidated historical practices, and debunked misconceptions. We've seen how the kris is much more than a weapon. It's a symbol of artistry, tradition, and even scientific ingenuity. Its connection to the natural world through Warangan and other substances speaks to a deep understanding of the environment. Dr. Gimlette's work, along with historical accounts, invites us to appreciate the complexity of cultural practices and the ingenuity of those who perfected them. While we have explored the past, the future holds untapped potential for research and discovery. The kris remains a subject ripe for academic exploration, with secrets yet to be unraveled. For those of you who are inspired by these stories, there's a wealth of knowledge waiting. Whether you are a budding historian, a cultural enthusiast, or just a curious mind, the legacy of the kris offers a unique window into a world where myth, history, and science converge. I encourage you to continue the conversation, to seek out the books, the artifacts, and the stories that keep the spirit of the kris alive. Let's ensure that this fascinating piece of cultural heritage is not forgotten, but rather celebrated and studied for generations to come. If you have learned something new from today's video, do have a care and remember to subscribe, like, and share if you would. Your support will help this video reach out to other kris enthusiasts out there and will allow them to discover and explore deeper into the facets of kris collecting in upcoming videos. Do share your thoughts and questions in the comments below, and let's weave the future of kris collecting together. If you need a refresher on the salient points I shared in my previous videos, check them out right here. Until my next video, thank you for joining me on this enlightening journey. Stay curious, keep exploring, and until next time, keep the legacy of the kris thriving. I'll see you there.